Terrifying and uncharted news from the Arctic. U.S. government scientists say there is an unparalleled period of warmth in the Arctic due to human-caused climate change. This means 95% of the oldest Arctic ice has melted, the scientists say, and all of the heat coming from the Arctic is impacting normal weather patterns, which will likely cause more deadly storms. This marks the second Trump administration study in just a few weeks warning about dire climate change consequences. Remember, President Trump said he didn't believe the first one. Right now, leaders from around the world are in Poland at a UN summit trying to find solutions to the crisis, with the U.S. delegation literally being laughed at on that world stage after promoting fossil fuel during the conference. CNN's Renee Marsh joins me now. Renee, has the Trump administration said anything about this new government report that once again is sounding the alarm on climate change, despite the fact that the president says he doesn't believe it?
Right. So I asked the acting head of the EPA today. He told me so far he has not had a chance to read that report. But Jake, what is clear is the administration believes that the United States is doing well in its effort to address climate change. Of course, that is in stark contrast with what scientists and the rest of the world are saying. Perhaps the most symbolic moment demonstrating that split happened just this week. Take a look.
This is the reaction you get when you bring coal to a climate fight. President Trump's senior director for energy faced the backlash during an international climate conference in Poland after announcing a pro-fossil fuel policy.
The administration's economic strategy is rejuvenating our economy, revitalizing our manufacturing base, benefiting American workers while safeguarding our environment.
Not laughing, the administration's own top scientist, who just unveiled a new and concerning report.
The Arctic is the canary in the coal mine. There's no doubt about that.
The latest findings from NOAA reveal record-breaking warmth and thinning ice in the Arctic. The cause, in part, is, you guessed it, carbon-rich coal and oil.
It appears that the world is laughing at the United States' stance as it relates to climate change. What is your response?
Well, I don't think a planned protest can be considered the entire world laughing. I think those were the protesters.
The United States stands as the world's largest oil and gas producer on the world. Environmentally, it is better to produce energy in this country under reasonable regulation and watch it get produced overseas with none.
Contradictions between preferred policy and scientific fact laid out in reports from the administration's own agencies are now becoming clearer as a string of warnings to aggressively cut greenhouse gas emissions appear to go unheeded at the highest levels.
The longer we wait on the sustained policy, the more expensive and the more consequential will be that delay. So the frustration is we would like to see the highest levels of actions happening faster than they are.
Just before protests erupted in Poland, Trump's team joined oil-rich Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait in not endorsing a critical UN climate report. That report says world citizens have about a decade to avoid catastrophic and irreversible damage to the environment. But the U.S., which once brought the world together to agree to the Paris Climate Accord, stood alone at the G20 in reiterating Trump's promise to withdraw from it.
Well, Jake, both Wheeler and Zinke, as you heard there, they may not believe that the world is laughing at the administration's position on climate change. But what they cannot dispute is the U.S. is very isolated from the rest of the world when it comes to how to deal with climate change. And, Jake, that never used to be the case.
All right, Renee Marsh, thank you so much.